it really took us the entire time that we had to prepare. In this case, it was like 3 weeks. I literally stayed up until like 2 in the morning last night, or rather this morning, preparing for this debate. It was really hard. We had to do a lot of research. We actually wanted the affirmative side too because we had a lot more backup with that. And but yes, it took a lot of hours of doing research and then ordering those ideas because you can't just spill them out like that and expect that they will make sense. But it was good. It was great to participate, and we've learned a lot also.
How will you apply what you've learned during the research and taking part in the debate? How will you apply that now practically in life?
In life, well, first of all, I personally can say that participating in this debate has helped me a lot to take into consideration the ideas of other people, because we all have something to learn from everyone. It's not that I know everything and nobody else can teach me anything. Everyone has something to say, and there's always some truth in what each person says. They might not be entirely correct, but you can still learn something from them. And so this has, in a sense, opened my mind to be able to understand the ideas of other people better, and also to be more respectful in the way in which I listen to them and how I respond to them, because it does take some sort of humility, especially when you don't win, like was the case with us.
Now, having done all the research and debating your opponents today, do you believe that gender identity is a product of nature?
I still think it's the product of choice, because we weren't saying that you choose to be born a woman or a man. But then there's a lot of confusion, especially when people, like we were saying, their brain is structured, and they had a point for that. Their brain is structured differently than the normal people. So if I am a transgender and I see myself as a man, it has been proven by research that my brain is not the same of a man or a woman. It's kind of different. And so because of that, and my genitalia are saying something else, how can we say that it's a product of nature then? If one thing is telling me something and my brain is telling me another. It was really the product of nature, then that is going to cause confusion right there. How do we decide how we perceive ourselves?
How do you explain that to a young person out there, to a young man or a young woman just entering puberty? How do you explain that and make it make sense?
I don't think I understand the question. How do
you tell young people who are at an impressionable age that gender identity is a product of nature, or as you explain it?
Or if it's a product of choice? I think the fact lies in that we are exposed to so many things. And of course, like we said, they might not even be telling us the same thing, because society has an idea of what a man should be, what a woman should be. And then so do ourselves, because we have our own ideas also. And so the reason why we stated that it is a product of choice is basically because all of that, it is your responsibility, and it is in your nature also that you have the ability to do it, but then the choice is yours. You look at all that and you say, based on the facts, or whatever you want to call it, based on what everyone else is saying and what you are hearing from yourself, what are you going to believe? Because they might not all say the same thing.
How did your team define the word gender identity? Because the definition itself is debated in psychological circles. So how did you define the word gender identity?
Well, the term gender identity, we actually looked at several definitions, and we noticed that the aim, or rather the main idea, revolved around personal conception. And because it's something personal, that's why, as the negative side, we wanted to go with that's a choice, because it's how I see myself. You can't force it upon me, and even if you try to, it's up to me if I want to believe you.
So what do you feel you were unable to? What did you feel that you were unable to bring across that the results for the debate went the other way? What were you unable? Where did you fail?
Where did we fail?
In your explanation.
I think they were really strong in a sense that they had research to show that we try to go a lot with philosophy and logic, which are still good, but then a lot of people, we have to understand that not everyone agrees with you because it makes sense to them like it makes sense to you. Maybe they need a different approach, and maybe it made sense in my head because how can you prove logic wrong? But then other people want to hear what studies have you found out? What are the scientists saying? And a lot of people go a lot with what science says, even though both of them play a role.
Mm-hmm.